We did it. Hey, Christian. All right. I'm just going through some of these questions real quick, and then we'll get to rules questions. What
Perfect.
motivates Raymond Garcia asks, what motivates you and what contribution? So yeah, I'm motivated because I've stopped competing. I left the team I founded Dragoons, and I just started doing some rec ball. And I was like, hey, you know what? There needs to be a 3v3 series here because there's so many teams and new players and it's fun. And I decided I'm the guy to do it and it's cheap. And the contribution I hope to make is to just get a good community of people that can just show up and play a couple times a year and not have to travel and spend a ton of money to play tournaments. I'm gonna skip some of these other ones because they're actually for Christian, I think more, but
All
Shermanator
right.
asks, will be open X ball be split deck or true? It's going to be true X ball because I only have 5 teams, and I actually can't do split deck with only 5 teams. Adolfo asks, this is the Angel owner, I think, guy on Instagram. Adolfo from I think Corpus Christi or Galveston asks, any requirements to be on the field taking photos? Nope, just stay out of the way. People ask me about can I do photos? Can I be a vendor? I'm just running the tournament. Just don't get in the way. Don't interrupt the tournament, the flow of the tournament, and you can do whatever you want. And you should talk to Todd Green if you want to do anything that has to do with vendors or whatnot. Carl asks from Budget Ballers, ETA on the layout review. I'm guessing when can you walk the layout? I'm going to be building the layout on Saturday and you can come by. You won't see the layout till it's done, which is going to be later in the afternoon. But so I'm going to be at the field on Saturday. The layout will be up. I'll have printed out copies for you to take, a couple for each team, and it will be online also on Guns Up. So if you're not able to make it to the field, you will at least walk virtually. And uh, what else? Oh, yeah, I will be at the field. This is important. I will be at the field at 2 p.m. Uh, Saturday for early registration, and you should come by and check in if you can. So you have to do in the morning, and you will also be able to walk the field then. All right, question from I got from Katie Dallas Smith. How did Christian get to be so darn cute?
Um,
I don't know. I don't really see it. He needs to get a better haircut. I don't know
that's
who your
true.
barber. I don't know who your barber is, but tell Katie she needs to work on that. All right, we'll skip that one, and then finally from Bert. This is actually one you can address first because it's going to be cold out for this event. We're actually going to have nice weather. It's not going to be ice falling in the sky or rain. It's going to be sunny, a little windy in the morning, but it is going to be in the 40s. So
Mm.
his Bert's question is, will sweaters under your jersey be allowed? Christian, what's the rule on that?
So the rule on that is typically you're only allowed 2 layers of clothing on your body. That includes arm pads as a layer, knee pads as a layer, and then obviously your jersey and your pants is your second layer. In the rule book, it does say if it is below 50 degrees for the event, then you are allowed a third layer. However, there is a limit to the thickness of that. Um, it says, for example, like quilted things where are counted as 2 of the 3 layers. So I would suggest like just wear a thin hoodie. You're not going to need, especially once you start playing, you're going to warm up pretty quickly. So, um, I think a hoodie would be more than enough there. But as far as like wearing like a big thick sweater, there is a limit on like how thick. So go ahead to the NXL rulebook where go down to the equipment section. It'll say exactly what you can and cannot wear. So yeah,
Yeah, always go back to the rule book, but I think you said that I didn't know this, but you can have 3 layers if it's below 50 degrees out, right? And I think the layer has to be about the thickness of a t-shirt. So I actually I don't know what the Ultimate Ref here, and congratulations on your recent promotion to Ultimate Ref.
thank you.
I don't have anyone else that can do it, so it's just Battlefield promotion. But seriously though, I don't think anyone should be wearing hoodies. Like if you've got a hoodie, like I'm wearing this Spurs hoodie, go Spurs go. That's too thick. It needs to be like t-shirt thickness. 3 layers is fine. And also, I think if you wear arm pa- do arm pads count as a layer still?
Arm
I
pads
don't know. This is getting
do
super.
count as a layer, yeah. So it does. I mean, technically in the rule book, like it does say each layer consists of a standard cotton t-shirt garment with approximately 150 grams per meter. But well, we're not going to
I'm not gonna
be.
have I'm not
Yeah,
gonna have
we're
a
not.
scale at the field.
I'm not going to be conducting strip searches there at the field, right? So, um, just wear a thin, either a thin long sleeve or if you have a thin hoodie, I mean, like it's going to warm up throughout the day, and once you start playing, like the points are going to go pretty quickly. The way that we've built the schedule for this event, there's not going to be an hour of downtime in between every single point. Like you're probably going to have what, like 2 or 3 points in between each one that you play.
Let
So,
me let me
um,
talk about that. So the structure of this tournament is gonna be very different. So there's 2 fields. We're gonna run on 2 fields. Open X Ball will start on field 1, and Novice will start on field 2 at 9 a.m. So we're starting later because we do have 2 fields and because it is cold out. Uh, it should be like in the 40s. I mean, people have been playing recently at that temperature. I was out doing drills yesterday at that temperature. You guys will be fine. All right, just bundle up. And it'll start at 9 a.m. There's 15 teams in novice. They're split into 3 brackets of 5 teams. So if you're in a bracket with 4 other teams, you play each of those teams twice for a total of 8 preliminary games, which is what is required for 3v3 in the rule book. So you're going to play teams twice. It's not 2 out of 3. You just play each team twice, and that's your scores for the preliminary round. Open X ball, 5 teams. Just they're going to play an X ball match, 5 minutes, no mercy rule. I don't. We're gonna probably do like 90 seconds between each point. True X ball, no split deck. But I'm not gonna have like I'll be there because we're doing this almost as pretty much as a test event to see if it'll
right.
work, and we'll do more teams next time. So I'm not gonna have if people aren't able to do 90 seconds to get on the field, even though it's just 3 guys. Um, you know, you're gonna what I'm gonna do is we won't start the horn. We won't blow the horn if you're not ready. We're taking it easy. This isn't World Cup. This is the local 3-on-3
Right.
tournament.
Yeah,
Uh,
and for the Open X ball, like obviously it is like there's no precedent or blueprint for doing 3v3 Open X ball. So we're gonna do the best that we can and explore like what works, what doesn't work. A lot of the players that are signed up to play Open X ball have been playing tournaments for a couple of years now. So we're gonna take a little bit of feedback from y'all, but at the same time, like help us to keep it moving. Obviously, if we give this like the standard 2 minutes in between each point, then you're going to have potentially twice as long break period as you do actual game time during a match, which is something we don't want. So we're going to offer the full night, like we're going to offer 90 seconds in between points, but if you're ready before that, then we'll just cut it down to 10 and keep things rolling. That's our goal for this event, is just to really keep things rolling, cut down on dead time and transition time. We want to start on time. We want to keep things flowing, and we want to get everybody out of there.
yeah, question was, can you be late to the box? If you're an X ball, you should try to be on the box at the 10. You should be on the box, all right? Like
Yeah.
every event, you should try to. I'm not gonna be a hard ass, or I'm gonna tell the scorekeepers like not to be hard asses, but I want you to hustle and get out there because otherwise we'll get behind schedule and people start complaining to me, and then I want to try to make this as easy on me as possible because I'm old and can't take stress. All right, seriously though, and then so for the novice division, it's 3 brackets of 5 each. You play each team twice for 8 preliminary rounds. That means that there'll be flights. So field 2, you'll start with bracket A. They'll do all their games. It's going to take about 40 minutes to an hour. Then bracket B starts. They're going to play all their games at once, one after the next. That's going to be for another 40 minutes, and then bracket C will go. And at that point, they'll be complete the preliminary round of novice, and then while that's happening, actually, I think bracket C, I believe is actually on. I have to look at the schedule. Bracket C of novice is on field 1 after Open X Ball finishes their preliminary round. Then we'll do the preliminary round of X Ball, and then we'll do the excuse me, we'll do the playoffs of X Ball, and then we'll do the playoffs of Novice. After Novice and X Ball are done, beginner starts, and we just start doing the beginner rounds, right? So, and then beginner is going to do all their playoffs all at once at the end. So we're going to do things one after the next instead of trying to do everything at once. You can go look on the schedule. The way I explained it doesn't make sense, but go look on the schedule. The other thing that's been asked is, when should I show up? All right. Well, first of all, everyone should, if they can, you should come by and check in on Saturday if you can, because that way you're not hustling, running around, and you'll get to walk the field. I can't guarantee you're going to have time to walk the field on Sunday because we're going to keep games going. There's not going to be a lot of breaks. So if you want to really walk the field, you need to do it on Saturday. And then should you show up? Like when I was running a team, I want everyone at the field an hour before your first game. You got to get your paint, warm up, get dressed, figure out who's playing, who didn't show up. Do we have to go to Sasha and beg for, to let me sub someone in, or whatever? But don't forget the squeegees this time. Yeah, I've got gear for that. Trevor, thank you. Yeah, so you want to show up at least, I would recommend an hour before your first match. That does mean that if you're in the third flight of novice, and that means you're going to be starting 2 hours after the first game of the first, probably like 80 minutes, 90 minutes to an hour, 90 minutes if we're on schedule after the very first novice match. And that means if you were one of the winners in the first novice flight, you're going to be waiting around for 2 hours before the playoffs. That's sports. That's how these sports work. Like, if you've ever done a sport like this, there's going to be long stretches. Like when I was at World Cup and playing mounts, I had to wait like an hour between games, right?
Right.
So this is going to be better though, because you'll get to play all your matches in one group. And then if you don't make it, unfortunately, then you don't have to stick around. You can hit the trail instead of having to wait like at, half an hour between each of your 90-second games.
Yeah, and that being said, guys, obviously the exact times for each point is an approximation. Points might go long, points might go very short. So whenever you're tracking your games, don't be like, hey, we play exactly at 11:10 and then we play again at 11:17. Don't go by the time. Go by the number of points in between your points. So for example, the Dallas Meanies here looking at bracket C prelims and novice. So the Dallas Meanies, they play the third point in that in their flight. After that, they have 1 point break, and then they're back on the field. And then they have a 3 point break, and then they're back on the field. So memorize the amount of points in between your points, and that will be a much better indication than just going off of the exact time.
Yeah, the times don't really mean very much. The times are mainly for me to figure out how badly we're far behind, how far we are behind schedule. The times are not when you're going to start. If we're like 20 minutes ahead of schedule, we're not going to wait till the time of your match. You're on the field, basically. I mean, the goal is to get this thing over with, frankly, so we can all go home, right?
Right.
So yeah, that's a really good point, and it's going to go fast. Like your 3-on-3 matches are going to go. These matches are 3 minutes long at maximum. Some of them go only like 20 seconds if someone just blows out the other team, right? You can win at 20, 30-second points unheard of. So you could find yourself back on the field in a couple, less than 10 minutes, which I think is going to be a better experience for everyone. I really worked hard on this schedule, and I hope that it works out, and I'm looking forward to your feedback. Okay. Do we have any other questions? Do you have anything that you want to go over, Christian?
Yes. So obviously, you guys, there's not that many points in between each one of your points. So what we recommend, especially if this is your first tournament that you're going to be playing, have about 10 pods per player on your team. So bring 30, 40 pods or so, and pre-fill all of them before your games. That way, if you have a quick turnaround, like if you have a 1 point break, you're not filling up just the 4 pods that you brought. You're going to have extra pods ready to go. That way you can just say, hey, I'm going to drop the empty ones, put the full ones in my pack, go get air, and then I'm ready to go. That way we can just keep things moving. And that goes for everybody. And then for the open X ball guys, as far as penalties go, I know that was kind of like a question mark on how we were going to do penalties, especially when it came to not enough bodies. Since we don't have a precedent right now, we're just going to stick with the X ball rules as far as penalties go. So if you're the last body alive and you get a major penalty and there's nobody to pull, guess what? The next point you're only starting with one body.
Right.
So
And you can
um,
go play that 1-on-3, man. Go be a hero, you know? Go out there, Dane Webb, go out there and beat everybody, right?
that
After you
also
cheat.
means that also means hey, if you're the last body and you get a gross major wiping penalty, it's a 2 point swing because that's a 3-for-1. That's going to pull all three of the bodies that would play the next point.
Right.
So yeah, penalties are going to matter a lot, especially in three man.
Yeah,
Um,
in that case, we'll at the scoring table, we're just going to immediately have the team concede the next point because that's what you should be doing anyway. If you're not, you don't want time to run out. There's no mercy rule though, so even if you have a 2 point swing, as you're a big cheater, you can redeem yourself and come back and win possibly,
yeah,
right?
absolutely. And there's
Yeah.
yeah, with their 5 minutes, I mean 5 minute open X ball, like that could be 3 minutes per point. It could be 25 seconds per point. So like that's really going to be up to y'all and how you guys want to play. Uh, I mean, run up the score, right? Run up the score while you can, because you never know. Like you're probably not going to be able to hold in a three man situation. It's just very few bodies to be able to account for zones and things like that. So run up the score while you can because you don't know if you're going to need that point margin later on in the match.
Mhm. Yep. And then also for Open X Ball, since there's only 5 teams, the top finishing team in the bracket immediately advances to the final, and then the second and third place team have to play a semifinal to see who gets to play for first. Another thing is that we will be having playoffs for third this time unless you guys decide to like do rock, paper, scissors or something lame like that. But we are going because last time there was some complaint, yeah, justifiably confusion about how we decided you finished third. The computers decided it. I don't know how they program those dang computers over there at PB Leagues. And allegedly, it's by the rule book, but I couldn't explain it. But now we're just going to let you guys fight it out. Third place, as always, in the Antonio 3v3 series, third place winners get Exalt Squeegees. Actually, it might be different brands in the future, but yeah, first place is going to get some tank dangles and medals and cakes from Celia Cakes. Second place teams are going to get Celia Cakes, medals, and these Burt Prince gun stands, which are very cool. That I had Burt Prince make for me. And then third place gets medals, and squeegees, and then fourth place gets a handshake from me and a job well done. And then everybody else, you just get to cry yourself to sleep. Here's the paint that we're going to use. It is GI paint. I don't know what brand it is, but I did some testing with it. Shoots fine, shoots straight, isn't leaking, and it's a little bit tougher shell, but we're going to need it because it's going to be cold out. So you don't want hopefully these guys won't be blowing up in your barrel. That's a horrible experience when that happens.
Uh, and just to be clear, Sasha, that's a pink break on that.
It's a pink, it's all paint breaking pink. There's no outside paint allowed. Everybody's going to be shooting the same paint. Always $50 a case, or as long as I can keep that price point, to balance out the low entry fees that I looked at some of the other 3-on-3 tournaments around Texas, and they're like charging, more than double what I charge. The USXBL entry fee, I think is $250 a team. I'm only charging 120. So nice local inexpensive event priced, you should only shoot, I think if you make it all the way to the end, you probably are only end up shooting maybe, 2 boxes per person on your team, depending on how you decide to play. If you decide to shoot a ton of paint, like that's your choice. I
Right.
personally only shoot like a pot or a hopper a game because I don't like to shoot a lot of paint. I just like to sniper people. But it's up to your playing style. Okay, any other questions? We had
Yeah.
all right, with the penalties being the same in novice and beginner as the open. Do you want to talk about
So,
penalties in three on
so
three?
yeah. penalties in 3-on-3. As far as like what constitutes a minor versus a major penalty versus a gross major, those definitions are still the same. The only difference is that if there's not enough bodies to pull, the point just ends and it goes to the other team. There's no like that team doesn't have to start down bodies the following point. There's no rule for that in 3v3. Even if it is the playoffs, there's no carryover of penalties. So that's the main difference. But yeah, just remember, as far as like obviously refereeing and penalties go, like our job as referees are to call a fair game, make sure both teams are first off, we're there to protect the players, especially if something happens, like if a mask falls off, that's our job to protect the players, cover them up. But we're there to enforce the rules and make sure everybody has a fair experience. So if you're shot and you are playing on, then that constitutes a penalty. And if we're like light on that, then that just means that a player on the opposite team who earned that kill is being cheated.
Yeah.
Because you're choosing to play on. Whether or not you recognize that you're hit, just remember, and this is going to be what I tell you at the event as well, the rules say that it is the player's responsibility to recognize when they are hit.
Yeah.
So that if there's any like complaints or like people being upset on, oh, that guy had a hit for 20 seconds and you're just now calling it, I'm like, what do you mean? So because you've played on for 30 seconds instead of 5 seconds, I'm supposed to make that more okay? No,
Yeah.
like it's still right. So
here's the bottom line. If Christian says that you've got a penalty, or a referee gives you a penalty, that's it. Like, don't bother, don't argue, don't come and mother F me about it. You cheated. Everyone, like, what's
and
that?
that being said, like we do know there's a lot of players playing their first ever tournament. So if they have questions, like absolutely come talk to me. I'm going to be the head ref on field 1. Taylor Risenmay is going to be the head ref on field 2. So if you have a question about a penalty, come ask us and we will explain exactly what the call was and why it was made. But if it's just, hey, he had that hit for a long time and it took you this long to find it, then I'm going to say, yeah, you played on for 30 seconds. What do you want me to do? There's no statute of limitations there, right?
Yeah, let's. I just want to address a question because I see Chaos Spores join. That's Marty, I believe. Marty, I'm not doing a gauntlet run. I'm a 3v3 mogul now. I don't have to stoop to stunts to get people to play the tournament. I may do one later in the year at the Turkey Shoot as a fundraiser for the food bank, San Antonio Food Bank, but that'll be a different story.
All right.
So yeah, I mean, what isn't it the rule that if you get a red flag major penalty, uh, that just ends the point in three
Yeah.
on three, another team
Yeah.
wins, right? So
Basically,
when you're
if you
talking
get a
about,
major, the point's over.
yeah, if
There's no
you
other body pull.
right, you get a major, you get pulled, and your two buddies get pulled. Everyone's dead on your team due to a penalty. End of the point. If you've got a yellow flag penalty and everyone's dead, that doesn't end the point. They have to go still hit the buzzer.
Correct.
So
If
major flags. I
you
don't
have
know what you do
exactly
with
the amount of bodies, yeah.
right, but
If you have
if
the
you
exact amount to pull, then the point's not over. The other team still has to hang it. So like if it's a 2v0 and a minor is thrown and becomes a 0v0, it's a no point. But yeah.
yeah. Anything else? Oh, I did buy for the tournament series a big red chrono of my own, so I don't have to use X Factor's janky ones. So you guys will have a chrono to get your guns working. Every referee there'll be four chronos, one at each gate. So that should be taken care of. Because that was a concern last time.
If you
What's
are
that?
a newer player, if you've never played tournaments before and this is your first time, do yourself a favor, do us a favor, please check the firing rate on your marker, especially if you have a mini GS or an axe, because
Yeah.
those come stock as I believe 15 or 12.5 or something. Like that's not in the NXL rules. The firing rate that we're going to be going with is the NXL rulebook standard 10.5 BPS. Most markers have it, the default setting to 10.2, just in case there's any marker spikes with either your air system or your power supply. We recommend that you just go with the NXL, or if you have an older marker where it doesn't have the NXL preset, it's probably under Millennium, which is 10.0. If you have
Just
that,
don't have,
then you're
yeah,
good.
don't have your gun shooting faster than 10 whatever point whatever balls a second. Um, any merch, SKS Wars? No, because I still have Podrunners Union shirts in my closet that nobody's buying. I will be selling them this weekend. Please buy them all. What else is going on? There will be vendors there. There should be food vendors. Butler Wood is gonna, I think, Gunners are gonna be selling food. I think someone else might be. Um, that's it. Again, for people joining late, early check-in. Oh, there's Austin Butler right now. Austin Butler, are you going to be grilling up some food for us to sell to all the hungry paintballers? I'm gonna look for the reply there. 7 a.m. Any bonus points for shooting Christian? I think you
Um,
should not do not shoot my refs because then they won't come back and ref for me, and it's hard to get people to referee even though everyone's being paid. We
Yeah,
will have
I'm just
sample.
gonna.
Go ahead.
There's a little known addendum to the rule book that we're using for the San Antonio 3v3 series. It is rule. Let's see. It would be 16.1, which is FAFO.
Okay.
Know that,
What is that?
know the acronym. F around and find out.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. Spectator friendly. Yeah. I mean, you'll be able to watch. And so, oh, actually, there will be something a little bit different. I'll announce this in the tournament, but we're only going to let the teams who are currently in the current bracket into the pit area. Because last time it was just too crowded with everyone's family and everything, everyone hanging out. So I'm going to be having Todd put up some tape or yellow caution tape and only let you into the pit area if you're going to be playing on the field. And it'll be easier this time because everyone's brackets are going to be playing all at once on the field. But otherwise, you'll just have to find a place somewhere else. Um, Raymond says you want to do that to you. Austin Butler says they're going to have pulled pork sandwiches. That's my favorite.
Sweet.
Uh, I love pulled pork sandwiches. Thank God. Dodging somebody's family trying to get air was crazy. Yes, we're going to be very strict about that. I'm going to be at the field 7 a.m., maybe earlier. We are going to have louder PAs that Tony from SBK is offering to bring because he runs a karaoke business. That's it. I got to get out of here. It's been half an hour. Any final words, Christian? Don't
Yeah,
nobody shoot Christian.
yeah, we'll do captain's meeting at probably 15 minutes before points are going to start. So that would be 8:45 a.m. We'll have captain's meeting on field one and field two will probably be separate. That way you can get to meet the head refs for your field. And everybody say hi to the pup.
Oh, hey, Pup. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isaiah's questions. Do I need help? I'm good, Isaiah. I think I've got enough staff. Carrick at 7 a.m. Probably won't be doing that. Or enough tables for all the teams. I mean, if you think that I would recommend you get there early. It's going to help that the teams are in flights this time. So what's going to happen is that teams are going to do the preliminary round, and then I'm going to ask them to leave. Hopefully, they'll have other stuff to do. So the teams that don't make it out of their preliminary round are going to leave, and that should free up some space as other teams show up. If your first game is at noon, you don't need to be there at 7 a.m. Right? You should get there at least an hour before your first game is scheduled to start. Uh, but and then you should also have someone there before the very first game of your division for a captain's meeting because we're not going to repeat that afterwards. So have at least your captain or whoever is the responsible grown up. Hey, Let's Leaf Studios. All right, I gotta go bring my wife her headband for tennis because it's cold out and do other family stuff. So I will see you all. I'm ending the live stream. I'll see you all on Saturday if you come by for early registration at 2 till sundown or on Sunday morning. Don't forget to bundle up. Thank you,
Yeah,
Christian. Congratulations
absolutely.
again on being the ultimate ref of a 3v3 local series.
I've
Very
made it.
exciting. You've made it. You can
Yeah.
retire. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.